Finished a 3-hour block, and as promised, I tell you I would give you an update on what you need to know to really help you become a good driver. I'm going to be reading through the final road skills evaluation, and if this is being suggested to you, you want to learn how to drive, you're an adult, you're a teen, you're in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, or 60s. So I'm going to go ahead and go over some of the fundamentals. My beginning driver did not put on their seatbelt when they came in. That's an automatic failure. Safe driving behavior is coming in, locking the door, putting on your seatbelt. Your instructor should be going over some of the information on the road skills evaluation, reading from road test prep, and in my evaluation process, I'm here to help you. Hey, Kelsey. Hey, Kyrese, how are you doing? Want to say hello. Thank you for coming in. Long time no see. Thank you for supporting. I really appreciate it. So if the teacher has to intervene, I had a beginning driver literally almost crash. We were making a left-hand turn. He didn't have his foot on the brake properly. If I didn't hit the brake, we would have crashed. And I can't get mad at him because he's learning how to drive. My job is to teach all of you to learn how to drive. And that's what I'm doing right now. It's just taking the time to help you get better, right? Next, I had several beginning drivers run almost red lights. They were nervous, they were going too slow. Sometimes beginning drivers go too fast or they go too slow. Most beginning drivers go too slow and they get caught at yellow lights. They panic. So I'm trying to teach you how to feel comfortable, how to drive safe, and not panic at yellow lights. Next, let's talk about dangerous maneuvers. Not using blinkers, going too fast in downtown areas, running red lights. Luckily, we did not do that. We went through some really tight downtown areas. We learned parallel parking. I had each of my beginning drivers parallel park 5 times each, learning how to turn the wheel hand over hand into the turn, learning how to turn the wheel hand over hand out, right? That's really important that you learn how to do that. If you have questions right now, come in and ask me. Next, failing to yield. A lot of beginning drivers don't understand the rules of the right of way. I do teach these, I do explain these to you. Good instructors have a checklist. We're not randomly guessing to teach you how to drive. We have information to show you how to drive. Next, my beginning driver was palming the wheel. If you palm the wheel, you're going to lose control of the car because you don't have full control. And us driving in a tight downtown area, downtown Detroit, downtown Houston, Texas, downtown Los Angeles, California, and those tight areas, if you're not turning properly, you're going to hit the curb, you're going to hit a car, and now we have other problems with people who are angry at us. So I'm really trying to teach my drivers to prepare for good driving. Next, identifying targets. My beginning drivers were starting to learn. We're on a very curvy road, 3 roundabouts. So you can't just cheat and drive straight. Your driving teacher should take you on a wide variety of roads, school parking lots, college campuses, main thoroughfares, neighborhoods, tight right turns, tight left turns. There was a lot of good teaching as we were going through the maturation process. And when you guys take the time to watch this, you want to learn how to drive. And you're going to be looking at my videos. I'm going to be giving you feedback. And when you're looking at the videos, look through the whole video. Leave comments. I read your comments. I reply to your comments. And I need you to subscribe and click that bell notification. You need to be smashing that bell notification. Let's keep going. Next, my beginning drivers started to look left before they make a right turn. So imagine, I'm driving. I have to look to the left to check traffic. If I don't, a car will hit us. So my beginning driver was scared to look left. I told them, look left before you make your right turn. And they started looking left. But the next problem was they were going too fast in the turn. If you go too fast in the turn, you're going to make a really wide turn. So one problem leads to another. But I taught them. I told them, go slow in the turn, check your traffic to the left, turn and accelerate out. And we went through a little 2-mile loop making right turns, making left turns, a smaller roundabout. And over time, my drivers start getting better. Next, the ability to judge and have good following distance. My beginning drivers, and they're 18 and 25, my beginning drivers started to have good speed control. They started to take their time. One driver was too slow, holding up cars. We got cut off. People road rage on us. My other driver was a little too fast. When you're learning how to drive, you will learn if you have a good coach, if you have a good instructor who won't get mad, who won't scream at you, who will help you. And when you take the time to look through all these videos, I'm going to teach you how to drive. I'm going to show you how to drive. And I have the correct evaluation process to help you. Here's some of the things you need to work on. You're going to make a minimum of 2 left turns. You're going to look at traffic. You're going to make a left turn, turning in the nearest lane. You're going to make 2 right turns. You're going to check traffic. You're going to look for the sign that says no turn on red. If there's a sign there, you have to stop. If you make a right turn on red and it says no turn on red, it is an automatic failure. What are some automatic failures? Failure to yield. Strikes an object, curb, a car. Next, a dangerous maneuver. You turn left in front of a car and the instructor has to grab the wheel. If I have to grab the wheel, or your instructor has to grab the wheel, or your road tester has to grab the wheel, it's failure. So we want to avoid those situations of failure. If you have already done so, you need to be smashing that thumbs up. You need to be smashing that subscribe. You need to be smashing that bell notification, because I'm trying to bring you value. And when you see, wow, this guy's on, he knows what he's talking about, you're going to be subscribing, looking at these videos and saying, I'm learning how to drive. And that's what people are saying. Next, what I need you to do is use a balanced hand approach, 8 and 4 or 9 and 3 on the steering wheel. What my student was doing was palming the wheel. I know he's going to crash. He doesn't know that. So I had to take my time and show him why we want to have 8 and 4 or 9 and 3. I am following the state standards. And a lot of you leave comments, I turn, I palm, I turn and drive with my knee. You really don't do that in reality, because you're going to crash. You need to have both hands on the wheel, a 9 and 3 or 10 and 2. You want to have both hands on the wheel. You want to be in control of your car. If you're going into the turn too fast, you're going to overturn and crash into the curb. And that's what my beginning driver did. He overturned and I had to squeeze the brake so we didn't crash into the curb. We were in a tight, small downtown area. Downtown Detroit, downtown Houston, Texas, downtown Los Angeles, California. These tight little areas require you to turn hand over hand into the turn and hand over hand out. If you don't do those maneuvers, you're going to sideswipe a car. You're going to hit a curb. And we don't want to have that traumatic experience. Next, search 15 to 20 seconds ahead of your travel. What does this mean? You're looking ahead as far as you can. If you're not going to look ahead, you're going to drift to the right or drift to the left. One of my drivers was extremely nervous. I had to be supportive. I had to talk some. I had to be patient some. And I had to let them struggle a little bit. But we want our drivers to have success. And if this is making sense to you, give it a thumbs up. If this is making sense to you, subscribe to the channel. If this is making sense to you, smash that bell notification. Let's continue. Next, checks traffic and signals. My drivers were overloaded. Not because I was talking to them, but when you're getting in the car the first time, or the second time, or the third time, or the fifth time, you just won't be able to process. Example, you're driving a turbocharged car. You have to hit one button to hold the trans brake. You have to hit another button to build up boost. If you're not used to a turbocharged car, you're just going to hit a button and floor it, and the car's going to fall on its face. If you're driving a nitrous car, you're going to hit that trans brake, build up your RPM, then you're going to hit the nitrous button coming out the gate. You need to learn how to drive. And I'm using those two examples of a nitrous car versus a turbo car because it takes concentration. Every car is different. If your driving coach, your mom or dad are screaming at you, "You're doing this wrong. You're going to kill me." You're saying to myself, "Oh my God, you're freaking me out." And that's what happened to my beginning driver. I needed to pause. He was squeezing the wheel with his arm straight. I knew if I didn't support him, we were going to crash. And several times we almost crashed. So I had to talk to him in a civil manner. I had to support him. That's what your driving teacher and driver coach should be doing. If this makes sense to you, you need to be subscribing to the channel. You need to be hitting that bell notification. Thank you for the thumbs up. Let's continue. Completes turn in proper lane. My two beginning drivers were always going into the turn a little wide. You're making a right turn. You're at the outside part of the apex of the turn. Cars making lefts. We're going to have a side swipe accident. How do we fix this? Go in slower to your turns and take your time. Time. If you're joining this live, I'm a state certified driving instructor. We're talking about the final skills evaluation road test. I'm reading from the final skills road skills evaluation. Put in your questions. We're talking about how do you make a turn. If you're going under 25, you're going to overturn. And when beginning drivers overturn, they overcorrect. They go in wide, going to the left lane, side swipe potential, and then they veer into the curb. So as an instructor, because I don't want to damage the car, I have to squeeze the brake. But I have to tell you, one of our instructors hit the brake too hard, the brake cable broke. That's scary. So if I hit the brake cable, if I hit the brake too hard, the brake cable will pop. So I don't want to do that. We want to squeeze our brakes and use the ball of your foot. Let's continue. We went through 3 roundabouts. Yield to traffic. Go in slow. A lot of my beginning drivers were not looking in the traffic circle. Roundabouts are circular intersections. They're safer than traditional intersections, less conflict points, less fuel being wasted, less opportunity for crashes. We went through 3 of these today, and each one my students got a little bit better. Sometimes they were going in too fast, and if you're going too fast, you're going to crash into the curb. Sometimes they were going too slow, and this confuses other cars because we would almost stop. And you should never stop when entering a roundabout because you're holding up the flow of the traffic. This is where you have to have a good instructor who's going to teach you and show you. And by me reading from the final skills road evaluation, you know that I'm giving you everything you need to pass your test. And speaking of passing your test, when I'm done with this live, you need to look at the link in the bio. I partner with StanStore. I have digital products such as this to help you pass your test. Let's keep going. 3-point turnarounds. We did some 3-point turnarounds. We backed in driveways. We turned around. We also worked on roundabouts, if available. It was a great level of teaching, learning. Let's talk about safe driving behavior. Next. We did parallel parking, really tight, small area. We lined our vehicle up. We reversed back at a 45 angle. We turned our wheels all the way to the right. The rear goes in at a 45 angle. My beginning driver should have been looking over the right shoulder. They looked over the left shoulder. So you're probably saying, who would do that? A beginning driver would. So instead of me capping on the student, taking their head off, making them feel bad, I just simply said, you need to look over your right shoulder. And they started doing that. Around the 2nd or 3rd parallel park, guess what? Success. 12 inches or less away, that's what she said, from the curb. And I opened the door and I checked, I wear size 14 shoe. So we parallel parked 5 times each. People were clapping. People are watching. And I want you to know, when you learn how to drive, people will look at you to support you. People will look at you to see you fail. But I'm here to support you because I'm in the car with you. Next, we did stopping by the curb. We don't want to go over the curb. That will damage our rim. That will knock our car out of alignment. And that potentially could break our axle. We don't want to damage the material. And mom and dad, if your beginning driver is hitting the curb, it's going to cost you thousands of dollars. Mom and dad, you don't have a brake like I do. You don't have a second mirror like I do. But you need to understand and tell your beginning driver early, I need you to make a right turn at the light. You're going to have to repeat directions. Mom and dad, they won't get it the second or third time. If you're screaming at them and taking off their head, they're going to shut down. How do I know? I talked to my segment too. I have 19-year-olds in there. I have 24-year-olds in there. Mom and dad, if you're not investing time in them to learn how to drive, to really pick up their skill set, they won't learn how to drive. It's your responsibility. I give the foundation. 5 lessons, 7 lessons, 10 lessons. But if you're not getting them out, driving with them on a weekend, they're not driving to school, driving to work, they won't learn how to drive. Next, let's continue. This list will be available on my stand store by the end of the week. Do you maintain proper lane positioning? Unfortunately, my beginning driver was going off the road to the right. They were looking down at the line. Don't look down at the line. Look ahead. I need you to look ahead and aim high. Aim high. Don't look down at the line. See the road. Look ahead. You see the sun clear? We have to have the visor down. See the visor? See how nice that is? Now I can see you and see me. But this is what it's like when you drive. See the sun? This is what it's like when you're driving in the sun. This is a natural hazard. You won't be able to see the light. Red, yellow, or green. And mom, if you're constantly screaming at them, dad, screaming at them, you're going to kill me. You're going too slow. Turn on your blinker. They will shut down. We are humans. You need to be sympathetic. You need to be understanding. You need to be nurturing. I've seen so many parents scream at their sons and daughters. This is why your 24-year-old doesn't want to drive with you. This is why your 19-year-old doesn't want to drive with you. It's sad but true. They've told me this in class, in person. So mom and dad, be calm. Think before you take your son or daughter out and you scream at them, because you're going to hurt their self-esteem. Next, safe driving behaviors. Do they put on their seatbelt? Unfortunately, my beginning driver did not. If this would have been his road test, he would have failed. Next, maintains proper speed. In the beginning, they were, but they were too slow. And I say they, meaning beginning drivers. Beginning drivers drive too fast or too slow. If the speed limit is 50, they're at 60. If the speed limit is 50, they're at 35. So speed control is very important. Next, maintains a safe following distance. Beginning drivers tend to tailgate, or they tend to drive really slow and they're 5, 7, 10 cars behind. If this is bringing you value in this live, give it a thumbs up. We need to push out this algorithm. This needs to go to people who want to learn how to drive. This does not need to go to people who are talking about random things. I'm a certified driving instructor, and I want to prepare you for your driving test. You getting out, being independent. Next, do you understand and identify and respond appropriately to traffic signs? Are you stopping? Are you blowing a yellow light? Are you stopping when the light is green? Are you going straight when the road is going to the left? Are you going straight when the road is going to the right? You have to look ahead. And by me telling you, you're not really learning. Every single drive, you should be advancing through the evaluation process. Next, do you demonstrate proper use of mirrors before stopping and changing lanes? My beginning drivers were not. It's mirror, looking at your mirror, and I'm going to show you this. It's mirror, turn signal, blind spot. If you're not using your mirror, turn signal, and blind spot, you're going to cut off a car. There's a lot to remember. And I'm taking you through the process of helping you. Next, do you understand the different vehicles and capabilities? Big trucks, small cars. Example, a 2026 Charger Hellcat wide body, 707 horsepower. A 2026 Equinox. A 2026 Ram 1500. Each of these vehicles I mentioned has different capabilities. You just see it as a car. I'm a car enthusiast. I know you're not as involved as I am. Ladies and gentlemen, if this brought you value, subscribe, smash that bell notification, and look at all my videos. Bye.